Hey, everybody.
Welcome to another episode of Getting Dug with Hi. Today, very exciting. As you saw in the opening in space, we have two guests. And this is the first time this has happened to us. One of those two guests is not here, but let's not dwell on that.
It's live.
Let's just stick with the fact that Kelly Carlin is here. Let's give it up for the 5 or 6 people. Yeah. And Paul Provenza will join us when he can get here. Our good friends at Uber are not our good friends today.
They're not Uber fast.
They're Uber lost is what they are.
They are Uber lost right now. Yes, they are.
We took the Uber wrong way to get here, and so we've been getting calls, updates. He is on his way.
Yes, and we're practically tracking.
And the 10 freeway is nearby.
Yes.
It's not, that freeway's not too far away. We're just not sure exactly where he is on it or why.
Why is he on the 10?
He got on it.
Yeah,
yes.
That's bad, especially this time of day here in Los Angeles. Yeah.
I love Uber generally, but when I get in and the person starts typing the address into the GPS, I'm like, what part of the job? like you're driving around LA every goddamn day. You think you'd kind of get used to where things are.
No, because these machines have made us stupider.
Well, I mean, nobody knows anybody's phone numbers anymore.
No.
I know mine and my mother's. That's
I know
the only
nothing.
phone numbers I know.
Know anything anymore. I just Google everything.
Well, this isn't going to be a round table of complaints about Uber and society in general and how we don't know anything anymore. What this is going to be is us getting ready to smoke with, dare I say it, George Carlin's daughter. Like, it must be an honor for anyone to smoke with you.
I guess.
Right?
I mean,
doesn't that excite people?
I think Cheech and Chong would be
that's
the real
a big one.
get.
That's
that would be the real get.
That's a big one.
But yes, of course, it is. It fits up in that, the Mount Olympus of stoner people.
Yeah.
Certainly.
So,
Certainly.
what does... and we'll get into it more as we go on, but for starters, what kind of marijuana do you generally prefer to smoke? Do you have a preference?
I'm a sativa girl.
All right.
I like the perky, fun, giggly up pot, I call it.
Yes.
And I'm a lightweight, so I'll be.
Perfect.
There'll be lots of comments below talking about how she only took a half a hit, and how fucking stoned she is now. But no, I'm a total lightweight. But I'm here and excited to smoke some weed.
Give it a go.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Let's make it happen.
Okay.
My alarm goes off every day at 4:19.
Yes.
As the viewers of the show know, and I'm going to plug it in.
My uncle Pat, who's my dad's brother, Patrick Carlin, he has a show in Woodstock called 420, and he does a little update on the local Woodstock radio show every day at 420.
At 420?
And he is a partaker of the green.
Of course.
He wakes and bakes. He's a wake and bake man in his 80s.
Whoa.
Yeah, and he's great, and he.
But the report is just about things in general, or is it all weed related?
No. It's about things in general, kind of his take on the world. And he and my dad were very close and spoke on the phone almost every day. So you can imagine my dad's take is very influenced by his older brother Patrick's take. So Patrick's not as organized.
There it is, 419.
We have a minute. Not as disciplined as my dad in the writing, but his ideas were just as, and still are, far out, as they say.
Well, I always love this story when, that great interview that Jon Stewart did with your dad.
Yes.
Where Jon Stewart asked George Carlin, do you come up with all your material when you're high? And he said that he writes his material not high, then gets high, and then does some punch-up.
He calls it punch-up time.
Punch-up time, yeah. The way he says it is such glee, such delight.
It's punch-up time.
Yeah, and I think that's a great system. I don't have the discipline myself to write a bunch of stuff not high and then get high and then do the punch-up.
Right.
So it's all high, everything I write. But, it was neat to hear him say that on TV, because that was how many years ago now that he did that Daily Show interview?
That was 97. That interview was from 97, Aspen.
So 7 years ago?
Yeah.
And, here we are. Do you think your dad thought it was going to be legalized everywhere eventually?
You know, I think he probably did. I mean, I think he always thought that if people really logically thought about it and really talked about it in a rational, scientific way, yes, that it should be legalized.
Yeah.
Because obviously it should not be, what is it, a Schedule 1 drug or whatever?
Schedule 1 narcotic?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Meth?
It's ridiculous, you know, it's just ridiculous. So, yes.
Well, let's take our first hits during the 420 minute. Is there anything particularly you like to smoke out of, preferably?
I need like a little pipe or something. If
How about
I do
this one?
that, I would.
This is a new one I brought in from
die.
home
Thank God you have
that
a medical person on staff here. If I did that,
we have a
I
medic
would,
that's ready to probably just laugh at you if you fall out of your
Great.
chair or
I
something.
was saying that a few weeks ago I did smoke something a little too strong and started to have a panic attack. So I was hoping maybe I could be the first person to have a panic attack on your show, and that could then, you know, be my claim to fame in some horrible way.
Or, you know, being your claim to fame to be a guest on the show where somebody was lost on Uber for the entire
Well, that is clearly now going to be the
entire show. Well, I think he's going to make it. I think there's
he'll
a
make
chance he'll be here by 5.
Yeah. He'll come in and just take a hit, and it'll be good. It'll be good. And
Yeah.
so, what is this we're partaking
Well, let me
in?
tell you about it. Thank
Yeah.
you for asking.
Of course.
This is called Candy Jack.
Ooh.
And according to our pals over at Leafly.com, Candy Jack was the second place sativa winner at the first ever High Times Cannabis Cup in the U.S., which I believe was the first one
Wow, I wonder what the criteria
in the U.S.
is
Must have
for
been
that.
in Denver, right? I guess.
I don't know. The High Times people, they could do it anywhere they wanted, probably.
They kind of do. Like, I
Don't
go to
they?
the High Times Doobie Awards every year, and they hold it in a city I won't name in Texas. And,
that state, really?
And it's illegal there. Yeah,
Yeah,
it sure
it's
is.
more than illegal.
Platinum OG would be the indica if we were smoking it today.
Yeah.
But we're not. But
Then
Leafly.
maybe Paul will have some of that.
Maybe.
I don't like the indica. Someone taught me that indica means in the couch. And that's how
That's
I
a good way to remember it, yeah.
That it puts me to sleep. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, me too, and most people. But every once in a while, you'll meet somebody that's like, I like an indica because it keeps me up. And it's like, all right.
ADD.
It's
the ADD people.
right?
Yeah, it's got to be.
They're just up anyway.
Those medicines
The
switch
indica's
with them.
not strong enough.
No. Elephant. They need elephant tranquilizer.
The Platinum OG is an indica dominant hybrid, and it asserts itself as one of the heaviest strains around.
I like that it asserts itself.
Yeah,
I didn't
that's-
know some inanimate object could assert itself.
Get your hands off of me, marijuana. you pushy indica, asserting
No,
yourself
it just
into
has
my
high self-esteem.
into
that's
my
all.
brain.
It's just,
Yeah.
feels good about itself.
Well, let's get into your high history, and then maybe when Paul gets here, we can ask him about
He's got an
his.
interesting one.
He does.
Yes.
Do you want to tell us his?
Nope.
Do you want to trade high histories?
No. No, mine's pretty good.
Does he know how you got started smoking?
I don't know if he knows almost everything about me because he directs my one-woman show. So I've told him every life story I have about.
Which is going back out on tour soon.
Hopefully, yes.
Okay.
It will be sometime this year, but yes. But my high history started when I was, I think, around 14, and my dad had this little jar of roaches that he was a rolling paper guy, and he had roaches, and he'd keep all like half joints and smaller, you know, in this jar. And I remember being 14, and my best friend Vicky and I decided one day to go in there, and we stole a roach, and that was the beginning of the end of Dad's roach stash, because every day
Because that's where you would go. You'd hit up the roach
and
coach.
that's how he figured out I was smoking weed, because his little roach stash was
Sure.
disappearing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, my parents never had any, so I didn't ever get to steal any from them. But that's pretty sweet.
Have you ever smoked with your parents? No.
No. Finally smoked with my brother recently. We never did until just recently, because I didn't even know he ever smoked. So,
Really?
yeah, and I was hanging out with some people, and like, we're gonna smoke. I was like, brother, I'm gonna smoke with these guys, and he's like, I'll smoke too, and I was like, what?
Is he really straight or have a straight
No,
jaw?
I mean, I just thought he drank, beers and watched football, But apparently, there's some weed smoking in there too. I mean, who doesn't really? That's the thing, But everybody's so
Yeah.
quiet about it.
Yeah, I mean, I smoked it throughout high school. I think I pretty much waked and baked every day in high school. I don't remember high school because of that. But and then in my 20s, somewhere I quit, and then it wasn't until I started hanging out with Paul Provenza and Rick Overton about 4 years ago, and suddenly pot was like in my life again, and everyone was smoking it, and I'm like, what's going on? And the whole medical marijuana, and so now I'm the one.
Now you dabble.
I do. I dabble. I'm a dabbler.
Well, I appreciate you, hitting it for the purpose of this show.
Of course.
What we try to do is just smoke continuously for the whole 40 minutes.
I've seen some of your shows. Yeah, some people actually do that.
Some people.
Like
Some
you.
people do. We did a live one from Largo this past Monday that people can. It's on my page, YouTube/Doug Benson, and we had 5 people on stage, and a couple of them are pretty regular smokers, and a couple of them don't smoke too much, and one guy barely smokes at all.
Right.
And they all got way too high. They all freaked out. And I think that having an audience there, and one of them, Harris Whittle, said having an audience there when you feel like you're too high is as bad as it gets.
Yes.
Did George ever perform high?
Oh, are you kidding? If you listen to or see him from like 1970 to somewhere in the mid 80s, yeah.
Pretty much high every time.
Yeah, and I could tell. There's like, you can hear his cotton mouth like on some of the albums that he did. And the first Saturday Night Live, he hosted the first Saturday Night Live. When you must watch it again. And when you're watching it, he's really, really coked out.
Oh God.
And he smoked some weed too, probably. But you can just see his jaw going, and as the daughter of people who took a lot of chemicals, I'd be like, oh, okay, he's done coke and he's done weed, and you could figure out what Papa
Well, that's
was
the
on.
reason people give for not doing this show is their children.
Oh, well, that's fair.
We've gotten that answer from a few people.
That's
My
fair.
kids might see it. You
Yeah,
know?
that
Like,
is.
okay.
Yeah, that's true. That's understandable. It's still not. It's not alcohol. It's
Their
not,
child is going to try it someday anyway.
Yeah.
And then proceed accordingly.
Yeah,
Either continue doing it or stop.
And I always think about those people that have to have that conversation with their kid. They were like total stoners in high school, and then they want to create some other boundaries for their kids.
Right.
Like, how do you do that?
I know. I'm not going to have kids, but if I did, I'd just be like, hey, Daddy made it work. Daddy didn't go to college. He did okay. But, that's...
We're changing the rules for you, though.
Yeah, for you, I really want you to fucking study. Because that, there's no sure things, I went through a period of time where I was telling people, fuck college. But now I'm thinking, fuck college if you're special.
But
Like if you're already getting paid to
special,
do what you want to do,
yeah, then
go ahead and skip college.
you don't need college.
And try to get paid at what you want to do before.
Yeah.
You don't have to go through all of college.
But it's a good time space filler for
Right.
those years when you're figuring stuff out. Go to college and
Sure.
give yourself some time to figure something out.
Sitting on the couch is no good.
Yeah, no, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
No. For all the people who are sitting on the couch right now watching us.
Every once in a while, I'll flip through when there's a law show, Judge Brown or, Cheaters or, the kind of garbage, Maury,
Yes.
garbage daytime TV. I just don't like any of those shows. So, but I keep every once in a while, I just miss the commercials during those because it's all for these second-rate weirdo colleges.
Oh.
And there's one where this black guy's just yelling at you about being on the couch and how you should go to this, one school and learn a trade. He really gets in your shit about it, treats you like you're a total asshole. And I just sit there and laugh at all that stuff because I'm like, these poor people, it's bad enough they're out of work and they're just sitting at home with nothing to
TV's
do but
yelling
watch
at them
TV.
now. The TV's shaming
Their only
them.
solace, their only joy, and my only joy is
We'll wait because
the
your
arrival
coming in.
of Paul Provenza. I feel so bad because he's a pro.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with
The
him.
Uber got
that
Uber
he's
lost.
Late. Do you think Uber will, if we just keep talking about this shit service today, that they'll give us some free rides
compy a little bit?
Yeah, we asked them to be a sponsor of the show, and they weren't having that.
No, you're too
Yeah.
dangerous. You're still there. He is.
There he is. Get in here.
Welcome,
Kelly,
hi,
Carlin.
honey.
We're gonna do it that way,
Yeah,
aren't we?
we're hugging. We're hugging.
We're gonna stand up.
We're at the hugging
Come
part
here,
of the
sweet
show.
cheeks. How
Hey,
the hell are
buddy.
you?
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
I'm
I'm so
I don't
excited.
know why you needed Uber. You could have rode over on your motorcycle.
I can't because Fonzie took it and I haven't seen it since. But I'm so excited that I'm not late because of me.
You know what? I was
Right?
excited for you, actually.
Kelly
I
knows
was,
I'm
yeah.
never on time for late. But here's the
I'd
thing:
be
is
double upset if I was late because of somebody else. I'd be
thought-
so mad.
I thought the driver was high, but it turns out he's just French. I don't know how that works, but
Same thing.
hi.
Similar.
Hi, you want
This
something?
is also fancy.
We have all sorts of wonderful things here that he will let you see and know.
What is this?
The
Vodka?
abuse this set is taken, and he sits down and says, "This is fancy." This is going to be a different kind of show today.
We brought love.
Comedians tear into this set.
We brought love.
You guys are like
This is
comfortable in this basement.
This is the dream I had last night, right here. This
You prefer sativa, yes?
wait a second.
The uppy or the downy?
Yeah, I think for the sake of your show, we should go with the sativa.
Okay, well, because you
Although
have to hit something right away.
I know you have some
'Cause
critics.
We've already smoked.
You have some critics on Twitter who say you know nothing about indicas.
Oh, interesting.
Wow, there's some
What do they think I don't
controversy.
know? I mean, they are
Love that.
heavier than sativas. That's been established.
I don't know.
And
You
they
will have to get
assert
into it.
themselves.
Firmly, I
They-
think.
They assert
Yeah,
themselves. We learned
yeah.
today.
Sativa doesn't assert itself. It just says, "Hey, what's up? If
It's
you
more
want to
like a
go for this
puppy.
ride." Yeah.
This has a nice bouquet.
It's the Candy Jack. that you're
Yes, we're
smoking
doing the
right
Candy
there.
Jack.
Candy Jack.
I know, it
Do you
already
have a sponsor? Is there a weed sponsor? Is it like a strain that sponsors
We
you?
know which strains. No, the strains we have to pay for on our own. But we know what's going on with the strains because of Leafly.com
Oh yeah, I got that app.
is a sponsor on the show.
The best thing about Leafly is the reviews. I mean, they're hilarious.
Yeah, maybe we should get into that. Maybe we should read a couple like of the funnier reviews. You know, Leafly probably
There's,
won't mind if we help sell it as a comedy site.
There's a
Spreading the
hilarious.
love.
I think the strain was something like something thunderfuck, and one of the,
Great name.
and the comments are like critiquing it about how strong it is, and you know, in both positive and negative ways and everything. And somebody just wrote in, "It's called thunderfuck. What do you expect?" I thought that was appropriate.
Yes.
Yeah, Thunderfuck is a pretty intense name. Alaskan, maybe?
Maybe.
Yeah.
It might have been Alaskan.
That would make sense.
Well, this is
This nice?
yeah, this is nice.
I know. This is a TV show. We're actually here to smoke pot
On purpose.
on purpose in
on-
front of
Do you know? Do you
television.
know that we actually Kelly was working on the Green Room.
Your
Showtime
program that
series,
you did
The
at
Green Room.
Showtime.
And we had
Very
an
entertaining
episode
show.
where, thank you, wish we could have gotten
That's
you on it, but
right.
hopefully we'll do it again somewhere, somehow.
Listen, when my phone rings, it's, you know, I'm probably going to answer a banana.
But we
so I'm
did
hard
an
to get on
episode.
shows.
We did an episode with Greg Proops, Kathy Griffin. Who else was on that episode?
Where's this
Dana
going? Because
Gould.
Kathy Griffin doesn't smoke weed.
Oh,
Correct, but Greg Proops said, "I would like to get high right now. Does anybody have anything?" And there was a sea of people came
Sure.
up, and there was all kinds
Most
of
of
stuff.
them
We had-
like producers on your show.
friends in the audience.
We're
and
holding.
yes, producers.
Well, you know, the audience on the Green Room was actually people who hang out in green rooms, so there was
Right.
more than enough.
Yeah,
of
it's that crowd.
Yeah, and
lot of comments.
it was frankly hilarious what came forward. But so we all got high on camera, and I believe it was the first time that ever happened on television.
On a big, yeah.
It happened
Ever, yeah.
After that,
Kathy took a hit too?
No.
I shotgunned her.
He shotgunned her. Great moment.
Leave it to Kathy. Like, she's a complete prude about weed, but if it's being shot into her
Yes.
via someone else's mouth,
Yes.
then she's down.
She enjoyed
Yeah.
it.
You make
It
it
was great
sexual
fun.
and she'll do it. Kathy, I'd like you to do some cocaine. No! Off of my dick. Well, Douglas.
All right, I'll do it at a rally.
And with that, we have to go to our first commercial break. We'll be right back. I think we're on the topic that came up on Twitter. If we can, I think we might be able to see it on the screen. If you had to switch places with the lead character in one movie, Jenny, what movie or who would that person be?
If you want to know what my immediate reaction in my head was, the T-Rex from Jurassic Park. That's the first thing that popped into my head.
That's a part you would like to
Then I was
play. You know how much time that T-Rex had to spend just standing in front of green screens?
Yeah.
That poor dinosaur.
Poor dinosaur.
Can you make the T-Rex noise?
That one.
We got shut down by the man. There was something in the YouTube algorithm where a robot decided that it saw something that wasn't supposed to be happening on YouTube and shut us off.
I just
That's
never
scary, right?
remember that there's a whole world out there. Like, ever.
There's a whole galaxy.
I mean, well, that's
universe.
true. There's a galaxy behind us.
Yeah.
And a whole internet starting right here and then going out.
Trippy. I don't get it at all.
Sitting there, and I get a little heavy, and I'm like, Jesus, when does life begin?
At 40.
What? Coming up on Tim's Cook-Off. Tim faces his toughest critic yet.
Tim Heidecker, you suck.
In a battle that started on the internet.
You don't know who I am and what I'm cooking.
But will end in the kitchen.
She's nothing. She's shit. She's garbage.
These contestants will compete in a one-on-one cook-off where the winner will be determined by our secret judge.
I do have a very sensitive stomach. If it's something light like salads, it's totally fine.
The dish, chili.
We're back. I wish you could have seen what happened during that break. That was a fun time. We learned about Paul Provenza's shirt.
My Uncle Pat that I told you about earlier.
Oh, you had already talked about Pat.
Yes, because we did
fine.
420, because my Uncle Pat does 420 things on Woodstock Radio. This is my Uncle Pat's book, Kien fucking Sabe.
But
it's kind of like his brain dropping.
This is, you can see the Carlin.
Kien fucking Sabe.
Yeah.
You can see the Carlin DNA between Pat and George for sure. The back of the shirt is it's essentially.
Hopelessness is not a bummer.
And that speaks to me, speaks to my heart, because I don't give a shit about anything anymore.
Yeah, warms my heart.
It doesn't,
It's so liberating.
I know it is, isn't it?
God.
Fuck hope.
It's not a bummer.
Fuck hope and the horse it rode in on.
Just comfortable with hopelessness is what you're saying.
It is
Just
what it is.
Ride it out.
It is what it is. You may as well laugh about it, have some fun with it.
Get high.
Get high if that's how you have fun. Who am I to judge?
No, never. This is the silent part of the show, where
I should go to ventriloquism school
Or your guest
and learn how to. Any magician, the first magician or ventriloquist who does this will be king of all.
get Otto and George.
All you got to do is, learn how to fucking
If it was
throw
Otto
your
and
voice
George-
while you're taking a monster
Otto
hit.
and George would do it with a crack pipe, though, I think. I tried to get a hold of Otto and George for the Aristocrats, and it took months and months and months, because the rumor is that Otto sold his answering machine for crack money. So I couldn't get a hold of him.
Aristocrats, we should say, for anyone who hasn't seen it, is a movie that Paul made, had the idea to do it, and did it.
Penn Jillette and I.
That's what we were talking about in the commercial. You said, how do you get this gig? I was like, I had this idea, and
there
now
you
I'm
go.
doing it.
There you go.
And that's what the Aristocrats was. You and Penn Jillette are like, let's have a bunch of comics say their version of the Aristocrats joke.
Right. It was pretty much nothing I do can be pitched. There's no
Just
way.
do it. Just do it.
So you just gotta do
DIY
it.
that shit.
Yeah. Basically, but it's really hard to explain a vision, whatever it is. I mean, this was pretty straightforward. I mean, Getting High with Doug Benson kind of says it all.
Yeah.
I want to know whose cock you sucked to put up the money for this.
There is a fella, a nice fella, named Daniel Kellison, who started this video podcast network.
Ah.
In
So he'll be the
affiliation
dick
with
you wanna
somebody
suck.
with some deep-ass pockets or some shit. I mean, this is a pretty pricey set we're sitting on.
And
But yeah, they're just taking a chance on the idea of the internet, YouTube, competing with network television or cable, and You know, we get an average of 125, 150,000 people watch an episode of this show.
Christ.
And that's over a period of time because it just, once we do an episode, it just sits there and people can watch it from now on.
Yeah, but it takes more than just the technology. I mean, obviously somebody had the vision to say, you know what, this is the way a good portion of the world works. Let's serve that audience.
Well, Daniel's a cool cat. Daniel's a good guy and a cool cat, and was just like, wanted me to do something on the network, and I said, this is what I want to do. And this is how simple it was, and you can see how we didn't extrapolate on it further. I said, I just want to sit down with known people, celebrities, comedians. It's going to be mostly my comedian friends. I just want to sit and smoke pot on TV live at 4:20 on a weekday afternoon. I wanted Monday at first because I thought that's a really good way for people to start off their week. Is 4:20 the first day of the week? Have a nice, fun show.
Monday. You're traveling, right?
Well, I could have worked it out.
Oh, okay.
But we settled on Wednesday because they had a conflict on Mondays. But Wednesday is really it would be my second favorite choice for this because it is like. You know, it's the day where people are just like, fuck.
People need
people need to know that hopelessness is not a bummer on Wednesday. Wednesday is hopelessness is not a bummer day. Because, man, that's a horrible day of the week.
This is beautiful.
Yeah, that's a fun pipe. We could reload that and just look at it if you want. We call it the Willy Wonka.
It's a sort of like
the Willy Wonka.
I'm just picturing the detective trying to solve crimes with this thing.
This is my favorite. This is like Canadian flag marijuana paper.
Yeah. Do you roll joints?
I do.
Do you want to roll one for us? That'd be a fun activity for you.
I'm so excited I get to roll a joint. I haven't rolled a joint since high school, I think.
Paul Provenza, while you do that, tell us how'd you get started smoking pot, your high history?
Very interesting story. I smoked pot for the first time in my life at the age of 38.
Hello?
I grew up in the 70s. I was a comic on the road during the peak years of the boom in the 80s and 90s when they were actually offering to pay you, club owners were offering to pay you in cocaine rather than cash your check. I mean, like, it was just nonstop, and I had no interest in anything. So I didn't smoke pot until I was 38. I'm 56 now.
Do you know I've been in the same room with cocaine and been offered it maybe 4 times in my entire life?
And you've never done it?
And I've never said yes.
And have you ever done coke?
No, I've never done coke.
But isn't it weird that I've never even been around it?
Yes, that is weird.
Well,
you know?
That's generational.
70s, 80s, 90s, and none of it. I was never around it. All my friends have always just been square on that. Drinkers and pot smokers.
You're lucky.
But
it's a horrible drug.
Kids,
stay away from the cocaine.
I'm very happy to have never done cocaine.
Yeah, it doesn't really.
A whole decade went away because of cocaine for me.
I mean, look, you know, Kelly will tell. Kelly knows me well enough to really get what this is about. But could you imagine me wanting to? Oh yeah, that's what I want. Something going to make me more anxious. Something to make me grip my teeth a little more every once in a while.
Maybe that's why you don't see a lot of comedians doing it because we're amped up
Not
enough.
anymore.
In the 80s you did.
Fueled the entire comedy boom.
Yeah.
Judy Gold.
Bobby Slayton needed to talk faster.
That's exactly right. Do you know the story about Bobby Slayton? They got cut off of the Merv Griffin show because he was going too fast to come out clearly on the tape. Like his
couldn't catch him.
It was like electronically garbled. It was so fast.
Wow.
Wait, Bobby Slayton was on Merv Griffin. I just have to put my head.
I bet she was on a bunch of times because they had comics on almost every day.
I did it a bunch of times. It was a great show to do.
It was a great show.
You forget the times. That's
Kids,
what was on
Google
TV. The Merv Griffin show was actually on TV.
It was.
I got to see a taping of a Merv Griffin show, like, you know, towards the very end, and.
Yeah, that's right. He was around when you started up.
It was exciting. Jamie Lee Curtis and William Shatner were the guests.
Wow.
And they were both plugging like the shittiest movie. Like they were both on the low end of their. You know what I mean? They were like, it was big to me because I loved both of them. You know, but.
What year? What year did he go to?
Jesus, I don't know.
It
went pretty long. It was in that studio that was on Vine.
That's right.
Then for a long time after that is where Jeopardy was for a long time. And then Star Search and Nickelodeon.
By the way, this is perhaps the most arcane showbiz conversation you could ever hear on any podcast.
Wait,
where the Merv Griffin show taped and what came in and taped there.
That's the fun of getting the guests high. Is just you just don't know what you're gonna get.
I've got a little beef about the podcast thing because I'm confused. It's on video. It's like a TV show. what makes it the podcast part of it? Like, and so what
You're
is
not
the
on. You're not on.
definition of the
You have to deal with those TV people. You can get the guy that
So
runs this
that's
thing
what
high.
makes it a
You could
podcast?
get him high, suck his dick, and all of a sudden it's on the air. That's the difference.
I don't know where all this dick sucking is coming from. Might be like part of the whole cocaine thing, but.
Well, I think if you achieve
I'm so
anything,
awake, I gotta suck a dick.
It's not a good joint.
I'm pretty sure that if you
apologize.
achieve anything, somebody's dick got sucked.
I love that.
At some point,
at some
yes.
point.
I love that joint regardless.
It's really
just 'cause
bad
it's
joint.
in that
You know what it
paper.
looks like?
Newfoundland.
Yes, that's what it
It
looks
looks like a candy. So, but it's
Yeah, no, I'm
probably
gonna
half a
just.
candy.
So I put this in my coffee. Is this my? I need my stevia because I want to eat
That's kind of a
poison.
great idea. How about rolling papers, like Tootsie Roll wrappers and Sweethearts wrappers?
Oh my God, that's a
and
great
That
idea.
actually is kind of a good idea,
Yeah.
right? I'm telling you, the millions that have slipped through my fingers from ideas when I was high that I didn't remember.
Which end would you like?
I don't know. It's bad. It's bad either way.
I think this one's more of an entryway
Scissors. I
than-
need a little thing to tap down. I didn't have enough the right tools. I'm not blaming the tools, but
Kel, you refer to this in your one-woman show, which is much
Excellent
better,
segue.
much better than your one-man show, by the way. Your one-woman show feels much more authentic. But you mentioned helping your dad make spice cake and stuff when you were just a little kid.
I did.
So like.
Yes.
What's your experience
you
through?
weren't here for that. But I don't know if I've told you this story, but my dad had a canister of roaches that he kept
Oh, yeah, you used
in
to
his
steal them.
and that was how I started off. Yeah, and then in high school I didn't tell you. My high school headmaster, we were all getting high. It was the late 70s, and he was upset about this. And so he had my dad come in at one point and say, "We know Kelly's one of the kids who were hanging out with the other kids who were smoking." And my dad said, "Well, yes, I do know that because I'm buying her weed for her." And my poor headmaster, it was like one of those, Hollywood private schools here in LA. He was like, "Well, as long as she doesn't do it during the school day and at campus." I mean, it was like a bunch of backpedaling. The 70s. It's not like
Yeah,
that
but
anymore.
it's so funny
See, it's
because while I
already
was
bad. It's running. I'm suddenly doing Richard Lewis. I'm doing Richard Lewis doing the joint.
Hey, here's a question. though. Now I hear about I hear all the time that the pot today.
He's now interviewing.
The pot today is so different from the pot in
Yes,
the 70s. And I didn't
yes.
do it in the 70s, but you've been across them both. So
Oh, yeah.
What's the difference?
It's way stronger.
just how strong it is?
Way stronger, yeah. We used to get like bags of brown Mexican. Did you smoke weed when it was?
No.
It was just, and it smelled like dirt and tasted like dirt, and you had to smoke half an ounce to get high. And nowadays, I take a couple hits and I'm gone for 6 hours. It's really amazing.
But is
stuff.
it more than just the
Good luck
strength of
trying
the
to get
weed?
on
Isn't it?
top of
It
that.
seems like there's some culture that's different around.
You can get a hit off that.
I'm just
it's not
looking
easy,
for an
but you
ashtray
can do
or
it.
something.
Well,
Yeah,
it's-
just tap it into that
It's,
thing.
I mean, certainly, just the culture itself has changed, but,
But was smoking pot back then part of sort of the counterculture? Like, was it a political statement as opposed to
100%.
now where
Yes.
it's far more than that?
100%, absolutely.
That's
Yeah,
gotta be really
my
good.
dad had a poster that had all of the drug laws for every state in the United States and like your fine and how long you would go to prison.
I have that same thing with statutory rape.
Your dad would do the research like before he goes places?
It was like from a head shop, the poster, they would sell all sorts of things.
It's like the choking
pipes and
poster.
everything.
Because
Everybody
now
had
when
to
I
have it.
travel, I kind of know, I
But
get
it
the
would
lay
be
of the
state
land.
by
I find
state.
out the rules.
But this
you
is
know?
like 1972, 1973, and this is when
Sure.
it was like, and I would look at this, and I knew my dad was doing coke and weed and was carrying and traveling, and I would think, oh, he's going to Arkansas. This doesn't look good. Or Texas. Forget about it. You were like going away forever in Texas. You probably still are.
But he didn't have like a tour bus with his name on the side.
No,
of it,
no,
though,
no,
did he?
no, no,
That's
no.
always
No.
cracks me up that Willie Nelson and Snoop Dogg keep getting pulled over.
Yeah, shocking, huh?
Like, why not just go in a bus that doesn't have your name on the side?
I love the fact that Willie Nelson is the guy who would have beat
Oh,
up
good, thank
guys
you.
who looked like Willie Nelson in the 70s.
Yes. Totally. Very meta.
I've got to ask a Twitter question or something.
Oh,
I got to
please,
do
feel free.
something
Do whatever you want.
that seems like some sort of show is happening. Because back to the pitch. The pitch was just, I want to get high with somebody on camera live at 420. And he said, is there anything else we can help you with? You can add to it? And I was like, no, I don't. That's all I want. And that's been the whole thing. It's just, they go, okay.
So no one
Let's do
forced
that.
you to do Twitter
I
questions.
got the perfect
is what you're saying.
companion.
No,
piece.
Twitter's my idea because I love Twitter,
Me
but
too.
I end up not getting to them most of the time.
I think
don't love
you should follow this up with a cooking show.
I was thinking the same thing. Edibles.
That's genius.
I know. I was thinking this too. When I was
felt
getting
like
ready to
it'd be-
come here.
It'd be so great to
Is it
have-
already happening?
I have a
great
food
mind.
show already. Yeah, I have a podcast called Dining with Doug and Karen, and that's where me and my friend Karen Anderson, comedian, we just have a chef prepare a bunch of stuff for us, and we eat it, and then
I want an edible
and then
show.
we
I
talk
want a
about
how-to
it.
edible.
I want to see you cooking. I want to see you making
can't.
stoner
Oh wait,
food.
I have another idea for a show.
I've talked to people about that, but I'd be such a bad cook that, pot food can taste bad enough as it is, but then if you're a terrible cook, it can be quite awful.
Well, I use the word cook rather liberally.
Okay.
Person who mixes things in a bowl,
Or just
possibly.
finds two things that go together in the closet.
That would be very stoner.
At
Seriously.
Kelly_Carlin. This is from at C4NDY_. This is a catchy one.
Yeah.
K4NE. Good one.
I bet you that wasn't taken.
I bet it's great in leet speak.
He or she wants to know, are you upset that Doug did not have Dutch treat for you?
Yeah, I tweeted earlier. That's my favorite. So, but it was probably too close to the show. But I'm a person.
When I
who's
saw this, I was just like,
fond of the Dutch
upset?
treat.
She's upset about?
No.
And what's Dutch treat? Because that sounds like
It's a nice strain. You would
sex
like
act.
it. Well, it probably is. It's a lovely sativa. You
I
would
don't
like
think I've
it.
ever had that.
It's
Has anybody
very
have you heard of
happy.
it, Gabe?
It's happy, giggly,
pretty,
fun stuff.
It's pretty popular.
Gabe's
in the
never even heard of it.
Yeah,
He's
it's
been
pretty-
smoking since he was 3.
Most people I know have it come. I was like, bring the Dutch treat. So yeah. No, I'm not upset. I haven't even thought about it since I've.
Forgive me if we already established this, but did you smoke with your dad?
A couple times, yeah. I taught him how to smoke out of what he called a water pipe. I'm like, Dad, it's a bong. It's called a bong.
Wait, your dad
He
didn't know what a bomb
bongs?
was?
In,
Dude, that was like a Farrelly Brothers script, right? That was flawless.
this is the 70s, and we were into bongs. We were teenagers. We were into bongs, and I think they had just kind of become a thing. He was a joint roller since the 50s. I mean,
But he was on every college campus in America with all the kids who got high.
but he knew what it. I had to teach him like where the carb was and all of that. And
Oh,
then,
that is so adorable.
And he called it
I'm
a
so
water
impressed.
pipe.
It's super cute.
And it is super cute. Yeah.
Water pipe.
So I want to
That's
do.
my impression.
I want to do a pot show, but it's edibles, and we eat them.
Oh,
and then
I like
we
that.
Kelly, it's time for bed.
No,
Hey, Kelly, did you
sorry.
ever notice?
I don't even know who that sounds like. I'm trying to think of who that sounds like. Kind of like a Muppet. It's one of the Muppets.
There are 7 words you can't say on television.
Sounds like Brenda Vaccaro.
God, remember when she used to have those like Tampax commercials or something? Oh, it was unbearable.
Awkward.
She was hot.
Really weird. She was kind of sexy, yeah, too. So
Was
that was
she?
weird.
was
Kinda.
kinda sexy?
Kinda. She had her day. I mean, she started out as a young, ingenue
Certainly.
actress on
Certainly.
Quinn Martin Productions.
Yes, lots of them. Barnaby Jones and
She was an old Valerie Bertinelli.
McLeod.
All right, well, we're getting close to the
Jake
end
and the
of
Fat
Old
Man.
Timers Week here on...
Hey, do you feel like an old timer?
I don't, no.
You know, I didn't think you would. But when did you start in stand-up?
It's fun
when did I
having
meet you?
it's fun having people knowing that we all know the same references because
Yeah.
we've been around for a while. What's the question?
But when did you start doing stand-up? When did I
Oh,
meet
right
you?
out of the gate, like as soon as I gave up on college, because I fucked around
Well,
and
like
went
day two, I'm
to
thinking.
junior college for 2.5 years, and then just sort of went, what am I doing? I already can do the things I want to do, because I was already like writing for a newspaper. And,
Oh God, no fun.
and writing like movie reviews and stuff, and I was already doing shit. So I was like, fuck it, I'll just
But you
move
were
to
already
LA.
doing, you were already doing movie reviews, like you loved movies, like that thing was your.
That's always
thing.
been my thing.
Oh,
yeah,
interesting.
way before
Hey,
pop
was
movies.
Comics Only your first TV appearance? So what did you, Merv Griffin? You did
The
Merv
best
Griffin
noise
before
if
that?
you missed it.
No, I'd done a few things before that. But there was a lot of comedy TV around then. I probably
Yeah, a
had
lot
a
of stand-up,
couple
yeah.
evening at the Improvs under my belt.
Right.
Yeah, I'd done some
Right.
stuff, but it was pretty early on, and it was pretty crazy because it's a funny piece of footage because at the end, Judd Apatow runs out and pulls the whole couch over. Like he was going to be in the next episode. He was just hanging out, and he knew me and the other guy, Ron Darien. So he ran over and he grabbed me from behind, and the couch that we sat on together was like, it just flipped back. And so that was like the last moment of the show, is us getting flipped over by Judd Apatow. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It would have gone viral if such a thing existed back then.
You know what? I just digitized it. Ooh. I literally just
But you
digitized
should
it.
take
I'm gonna put it
advantage
up.
of that clip because Judd Apatow looks like a beast. Just runs in and tears everything up. What is this thing you brought? I kept forgetting to ask.
No, it's from your fine people that organize
Oh, okay.
things around
I just
here.
whiz by the snack table because I don't
It's
want to. I don't want to
chocolate,
eat a shit ton of snacks while I'm here.
Healthy chocolate brownie something.
Okay, but that's nice that you brought out some. I was saying earlier that you were the second guest to bring food out. For some reason, they haven't been bringing it. And
I take
you
care of
think they
myself.
always would?
You would think.
Who else?
Oh, is this
I
when you
prepared
normally
myself.
time of day when you have this kind of thing?
Yeah, and I knew that,
Who
You
else?
get hungry after you.
Yeah.
Who else was the genius who brought food?
Ari Shafir
Oh,
had
right,
pockets full of candy,
I'm not that prepared. I just borrowed something.
like most Jews.
Well, he's got pretty quick metabolism. Very high metabolic rate.
When the anti-Semites come along, you throw the candy the other direction and run.
No, they travel around schoolyards and sell it to children.
Oh.
Ba-boom! I wish I could have a cigarette right now.
Yeah.
Well, you can in mere minutes because we're going to take one more break and then we're going to come back and do a couple quick pieces of business and then we're done.
Business. Wow.
Yeah, we got some business to take
Sounds like I
care
have to
of.
focus.
I was waiting for it to start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's fast,
This
man.
is it.
It's over fast, especially when Uber fucks it up. We'll be right back.
Fisherman's Wharf.
No, I can't, Todd. We're doing this.
Do it to me. See if it makes me laugh really hard.
Oh, it always does. There's this joke that if I say it to Todd, he loses his mind every time.
I don't want to do it now. It puts too much pressure on me
It
now.
has to happen. Can I suggest something? Doug should say the joke.
I met a guy who said he had a talking dog. Ask it any question you want. I was like, all right, what's the thing on the top of the house? And the dog says, roof. And I'm like, okay, that's cute. And he goes, ask it another question. So I said, who's the greatest baseball player of all time? Ruth. And I was like, see? He's just gonna keep doing that every time. He's like, ask it one more question. Okay, name a tourist spot in San Francisco. And the dog goes, Wharf! Fisherman's Wharf!
Omar?
Good evening, Doug. Right this way.
Doug, Jasmine, welcome to Nico Mansion. Come. You guys want some hummus?
No thanks.
This hummus is so good, I have to take a bottom half shower every time I eat it. Make my worst.
Hey, we're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. Skipping. This is all the stuff you missed out on tonight. This was fun, though. If you guys could show it up on the full screen, but I'll show these guys. This is a billboard they took out, like across from the
Nice.
stadium where the Super Bowl is going to be, I think. Or
That's great.
Nice.
where is it? Where'd they put it? Somebody yell it at me.
MetLife Stadium in New Jersey.
New Jersey, outside
is.
where the game's going to be played. Yeah.
Very cool.
That's fantastic.
That's
that they
gonna
went
be a
and got those billboards outside that place. Probably aren't that pricey. So they went in and got all of them, and
That's gonna be. It's gonna be.
Someone's
difficult
already
to-
doing a story on it.
that's going to be
Good
talked
thing.
about for
The
sure.
arguments about that are going to be real interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, because alcohol holds up the NFL. I mean, that's where all the money comes from, and maybe Papa John's, and so how are they gonna?
Nabisco.
Yeah, how can they stay against marijuana and not look like the bad guy?
Yeah. Very
Because
cool.
also, I drink when I'm high.
Sure.
It's not going to cut into.
Into their territory.
I'm not going to drink more or less Bud Light based on whether I'm high or not.
Maybe even
also-
more because you have cotton mouth.
Yeah.
It really
yeah.
enhances their product.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
it does,
Exactly.
completely.
Good point. So let's do the plugs really quick.
Okay.
So that you guys get duly plugged. Paul's web series, Set List, Stand Up Without a Net. I've done Set List. It's crazy.
Dude, when are you going to come and do it again?
Because it unnerves me in a way that I don't.
Yeah, but you were hilarious.
Well, thank you. It's at the Nerdist channel, youtube.com/Nerdist.
Guys, you got to help me get Doug to do Set List again. You got to help me get Doug.
And in the UK, the Set List Stand Up Without a Net TV series airs on Monday nights at 10:15 on Sky Atlantic. Did I say that wrong? How do they say 10:15?
They 22:15. It's
22:15.
It is 22:15.
Yeah,
That's
22:15.
right.
Which is you'd think a militaristic imperialistic country like America would you be
When
using
I'm there,
the
I spend
military time.
When I'm there, I spend all of my time thinking about what time it is there
I do too.
and
I'm
what
always,
time it is back
I'm
at
always
home.
adding and subtracting. Freak that way. my
Kelly's
OCD.
plugs, podcast Waking from the American Dream on the Smodcast Network at iTunes, right?
Yeah, iTunes, Stitcher.
Sirius XM show, The Kelly Carlin Show on channel 400. I did it. A little thing on there called Carlin's Corner.
Yeah, that's the channel. That's our 24/7 George Carlin Sirius XM channel.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And your nationally touring solo show, Carlin Home Companion, directed by this gentleman.
it was an
Goes back
honor to
on
work
tour,
with Kel.
resumes in the spring. You going on tour with her?
It's not. Is it a tour actually, or is it
It'll
just
be a tour next year. We're going to do
Yeah,
some gigs this year. Kind of building up for a bigger tour next year.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, speaking of things that are bigger,
Oh wait, did you mention Kelly's book?
we're taking up
Segue.
the
How about your
show.
book?
What about your book?
I'm writing it. It's not
she's
even.
writing a book.
I'm in the middle
So
of it. I'm working
look
on
out.
it. Yes, thank you.
Pester her about it.
No, don't.
At Kelly_Carlin. Kelly Carlin is blocked. Whoever is Kelly Carlin, her account is blocked. She's like not having anybody.
No, you know what it is? I didn't know at the beginning of Twitter that it would be a dorky to have an underscore. I just thought, I need a space between my two names, and so I put an underscore. I don't know who Kelly Carlin
But somebody
is.
else grabbed actual Kelly Carlin.
I'm sure.
And
It's probably a porn site.
And it's a
You know
locked.
what?
It's locked.
Is it locked?
Yeah.
Why do people do that on Twitter? Why do you lock
doesn't
your
make any
account?
sense.
Like,
You know,
why go on it and then lock it?
This whole problem
Stay
would be
at home.
solved if they made the underscore easier on the keypads.
That is so true.
None of this would
I never
matter.
know where it is.
It's always a pain in the ass.
Yeah, and on the phone, you got to go through like 3 keyboards to get to it.
Now you have to watch a magic trick.
God damn
Okay.
it.
It's game time.
I forgot Doug was here.
It's like our house. Okay.
So guys, I've got some classic movie posters here. They're tiny. High
do.
Noon, Fargo, Princess Bride. So Kelly, I'm gonna have you go through those and pick one out. Paul, you can help. I'm gonna turn and stare into space.
Oh, I'm going to pick that one.
It's a little obvious.
Okay.
And when you found it, put it on top of the pile and have it turned so you can see the list that's on the back.
Okay. All right.
You got that?
Yes, I do.
All right, I'm gonna have you read through those titles that are on. Do you see yours on there?
Yes, I do.
Okay, read through them in any order. Just make sure that you say all of them.
Oh, National Lampoon's Vacation, Maltese Falcon, A Nightmare on Elm Street, High Noon, The Godfather, Fargo, Taxi Driver, E.T. the Extraterrestrial, he's just smoking, Apocalypse Now, Annie Hall, Titanic, Forrest Gump, It's a Wonderful Life, Toy Story, The Matrix, King Kong.
All right, I like it. I think you went with The Godfather. Nice choice.
Did you know that?
How the fuck do you know that?
I tried, like, when I was reading it, like, make that one more casual or not more casual, make it the same.
Thank you.
What?
He's a wizard!
He tried to do that trick in front of 6 stone people a couple nights ago, and we couldn't get through it. It was too complicated.
You needed something where you could just be visual.
So you
and
guys
just do it
win
for
the
you.
internet until at midnight, a show, by the way, that I'm going to be on Monday night at midnight on Comedy Central.
Man, that looks like a fun show.
Oh, it's so much fun to do. And go to douglovesmovies.com for all my tour date deets and links. Thank you, Paul Provenza and Kelly Carlin.
Thank you, Doug Benson.
What a delightful... We're going to have to make this a 2-parter and do it again soon.
I think so.
Yeah, because we a lot of stuff we didn't get
Barely
into.
scraped the surface.
Have you had Tommy Chong on?
He has not been on yet, no.
Oh, you must.
Don't
I know.
you think?
I've been entertained by his stories because he sat in quite a bit on the marijuana logs.
Oh yeah, right.
When we were doing that, and so backstage he'd tell us stuff, and it was always very entertaining. Never smoked with him though, because the entire time I worked with him, he was on probation.
Right. Right.
And I didn't want to go back to jail. I can't say that I blame him.
Well,
But,
he did the therapy for his cancer, and it's been very, very successful.
Oh yes, yes, of course.
Yeah, so it's
I
really
didn't know
interesting.
he was dealing with
Dude's
that.
had a lot. He's done a lot in his life.
Wow.
He's got a very interesting story, and also, can really claim to be a huge part of the whole movement for legalization in general. Like he's still
and free speech too. He's been
associated with
some
of course.
really interesting stuff going around with the free speech thing. Like the big piece of evidence in the case against him in the bong sale, which he did prison time for. They brought up their movies from 30 years ago as evidence for his character. And it's like a huge free speech issue right
Wow,
there.
interesting.
Yeah, real fun note to go out on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Hey, let me remind you.
See you next Wednesday. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe to my channel, youtube.com/Doug Benson.